the This Is Me series remastered. And I was going to do a third episode and just leave the second episode as it was, where you could barely hear crap. Sorry. But I decided there was no fun in that. And if you didn't really get the second episode, you wouldn't get the third. So, without further ado, we're going to get right into it. And I'm flipping this knife around. Hopefully I won't stab myself. Anyways, I want to talk about the difference between knowing how to fight and knowing when to fight. The pick your battles type thing. And one thing that I want to talk about is how I've never known when to fight. And that's been a big issue. So, I want to first talk about depression. And there's been a lot of times I've wanted to give up. That I've just wanted to quit fighting, quit singing, quit swinging, quit just breathing in general. And I've had to force myself to get up at times. I've had to force myself to eat. I've had to force myself to shower. I've had to force myself to take care of myself and force myself to do things to get me out of that shell, to get me out of that hole, to get me back again. And the same thing with YouTube. I've had a few times where I don't feel like it today. Don't want to do it. And that's pretty much the main reason I didn't do YouTube there for a while. Is I was like, I don't feel like doing YouTube. I mean, I'm feeling okay, but I don't feel like doing YouTube. And this video, the reason I decided to do it, This Is Me, is because I was going to do like a martial arts video, talk about the differences between kata and actual sparring, and get into a big rant about traditional martial arts and stuff like that, but I wasn't into it. So, and I mean, I love martial arts. It's actually something I'm going to bring up in this video. But I didn't want to dedicate a whole subject to martial arts. Yet. I will. So, first things first, what has kept me grounded? What has kept me here this long, for 18 years? What's kept me from just pulling the trigger? Or jumping off the house, or whatever you want to say. I'd like to say it's been my family. It has. It really has. And I mean, even though that sometimes they've not known how to handle what I went going through, and like the depression, my depression, the PTSD and stuff like that, they don't really know how to handle it. And I mean, it's not nobody's fault. It's really not. It's just you can't expect somebody to be, hey, this guy's got PTSD, deal with it. And I don't like to think I have PTSD because, I mean, there's been so many people with so much worse going on, and I'm very blessed to have the life that I have. I could not have food, could not have a house, could not have clothes, could not have feet, could not have. I picked it up and dropped it again, by the way. Here's the knife. No holes in the floor. I could not have dogs. I could not have friends, internet. There's so much that I could not have that I do have that I'm grateful for. And to say I have PTSD and that my life was so traumatic that I'm scarred for life sounds kind of bullshit to me. I mean, I don't like it. I don't agree with it. But that's what the professionals say, so. Anyways, what's kept me here? My family, martial arts, wrestling, and yes, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages. That kind of wrestling. That was a little bit of a Bruce Buffer impression. Didn't do the whole thing because he has copyrights. But wrestling's kept me grounded the longest. Because before I knew I loved martial arts, I knew I loved wrestling. And wrestling It's still a dream of mine. I'm still going to be a wrestler, like no matter what. I don't give a crap what anybody says or how long it takes. I will be a wrestler before the day I die. In acting, I've wanted to get into acting. I've always been fascinated with storytelling and getting attached to characters and how an actor who is one way becomes a completely different person and portrays them very well, and you get attached to that character and you feel the emotions that they feel. I love that. I want more of that. I want to get into wrestling because it was, like I said, my dad was very violent when I was younger, and it feels weird to be attached to violence when that's all my dad was when I was younger, is violence and screaming and yelling and degrading and very painful stuff. But I don't know what got me into wrestling. I mean, I watched like one show of Raw. It was Raw. I'm like 90% sure it was Raw I was watching. I don't know. I can't remember my first match I watched. I can't remember any of that stuff, like all the legends talk about, well, the first match I watched was this episode of this, on this day, on this year. This guy, Hulk Hogan, was wearing purple panties in the ring. I don't know how they remember that crap. I don't even remember what I ate for breakfast yesterday. But my favorite wrestler has always been Shawn Michaels. And I know this isn't going to be about wrestling either, I swear. But just the journey he went through as a person, through the drugs and being just a complete dick. And then the way he changed his life around and all that stuff, that is like, wow, that's really cool. I can get behind this guy. I love their characters, their storylines. Not so much the storylines now in WWE. They've degraded. But I love that stuff. And there for a while, that was all I could think about. Sleep, drink, eat, wrestling. That was my life. And then I started getting more depressed. I started getting out of wrestling. We moved around a lot. I couldn't watch wrestling as much, keep up to date with anything. And I couldn't watch wrestling for years. And when I got back to it, it was different, and I wasn't enjoying it as much. And then AEW came along, and I got into that. I'm still into that. I'm loving what they're doing. But anyways, wrestling was a big thing that kept me alive, kept me going, kept me breathing. Wrestling, martial arts was another one. Not wrestling, I didn't talk about wrestling. Martial arts was another one. Because when my dad wasn't being abusive and mean and just a nasty person, he was teaching me martial arts. And that's weird, because I had a lot of hate for him, but I had a lot of love for martial arts. Even at a young age when I didn't know what I was doing. I thought it was just wrestling. But when I further got into it, I mean, I've been doing martial arts for pretty much 18 years. I don't have the belt to show that I've been doing martial arts. Don't have the balance or the skill to show I've been doing martial arts. I do have some skill as far as fighting goes. I'm not the best fighter to ever exist, but I'm not the worst either. I start putting myself into these roles, and I've started imagining, well, what's my life going to be like in 10 years as a martial artist? What's my life going to be like when I'm a wrestler? And I start devoting myself just completely, wholeheartedly into like wrestling or martial arts or something. And then I fall out because depression gets at me. And I've been only doing one thing and devoting myself to one thing. And martial arts has been such a big part of my life as well. It's been there with wrestling because, I mean, like I said, my dad wasn't being abusive, and even when he was, martial arts was involved. I've always had a big fear of my dad. Even now, it's still there in the back of my mind. As much as I hate it, I hate being afraid of a person. I mean, I don't like heights. I don't like... I hate the idea of drowning, which, I mean, who doesn't hate the idea of dying slowly and painfully? I don't like heights. I don't like the little doll things that can look at you and just like start running. I don't like Chucky type things. That was the best way I could describe it. I'm not scared of Chucky. I can watch the movie and laugh at it because it's more of a comedy than it is anything. But I don't like dolls at all. Those things scare the ever-living shit out of me. I walk in, see a room full of those, and I'm out. Mannequins are another thing. Inanimate objects that look human. There we go. Watch too much Supernatural and stuff for that to be a thing. I think it was Poltergeist that ruined that for me. Sorry, I'm going down a trip on memory lane. But, with all that's happened and stuff, the things that kept me grounded have always been martial arts, wrestling, and gaming. And when I was depressed, going through all the bullying and my dad being a bully and stuff like that, I had to... the only way I could tune it out was watching gaming videos on YouTube. And sometimes I'd watch like Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, Yummy Mash, Lord Minion 777, my Bob. I've watched so many. Crism Pro and Minx. Watch them a lot too. I fell in love with the idea of being able to be myself and talk to people and share a piece of myself, share myself with everybody and help them have a better day. Like, not being like, I'm the best thing ever, just seeing me makes you have a better day. Not like that, but like... It's hard to explain. Like, having people laugh at the stuff I do. Like, dropping the knife 3 times today. Just a throwing knife. It's not really a twirl it around and play with a knife thing. But I don't want to be egotistical or anything, but I like it when people laugh at stuff I do and enjoy stuff that I do. That is what I want out of this channel. I want your enjoyment. But I also want to tell you how I kept grounded with it. And kept grounded with the gaming and stuff. I also did the martial arts and wrestling. And I tried to get into like music, like singing and playing guitar, drums. I think at one point in time I really wanted to be a drummer. And if you haven't noticed, this is my voice. When I sing, it sounds like utter dog shit, which I'm okay with because I got the martial arts, I got the gaming, and you all know I'm just amazing at gaming. I got the gaming, I got the YouTube, I got martial arts, I got a lot, and I enjoy that. Anyways, the kata stuff is enjoyable because, like, when I'm feeling depressed or angry or sad or numb, I can just go through the movements of the kata, and then it kind of refocuses me. And I don't really feel numb anymore, don't feel the oppression anymore. I'm focused on the kata, I'm focused on the movements, I'm focused on my breathing. It helps. And I'm focused on making it perfect, focused on making it better. I want to let you know that bullying is not okay. And that was a thing I had to deal with a lot throughout my life. I kind of forgot where this video was supposed to go, though. But I'm going to continue with it for as long as it takes for me to get my point across. But bullying is not okay. I've had to deal with that for, oh yeah, I remember where this was going. But bullying is not okay. And the reason I say that is because I've not known when to fight. Because, like, people would put their hands on me, push me around in middle school, say awful things, and say things that my dad have said in the past when he used to beat me. Like, you're a loser, faggot, dick licker, queer. It was in my rap a little bit. And I was so scared of the words in general. Like, the words were the worst part, because it made me think about, well, my dad says it, and they're saying it, and that makes it true, and I can't get those words out of my head. They're just beating around, knocking everything out that's positive or even remotely good. And there for the longest, I believed I was a loser. Not them questioning my sexuality didn't make me question my sexuality. Hey, ladies. But I did believe I was a loser for a very long time, that I wasn't worth the air that I was breathing. And that's a problem. And the moral of this is, right here, is the moral of this thing right here that I keep spinning around and dropping is I may drop it 1,000 more times before this video is over, but I'm trying. I'm not giving up on doing it. Just like you shouldn't give up on life. Now, I'm not saying that life isn't going to try to mess you up, but I'm saying that you don't have to take it. You can just go do your thing and grin and bear it. I know that's like awful advice, and like I hated hearing grin and bear it, but it's true. You gotta grin and bear it, keep moving forward. And my jaw hurts from all this talking, by the way. Never talked this long and this openly in a long time. But when you think about it, and when I say I didn't know when to fight and I was just giving up, they would push me around and push me and pin me against lockers and talk a lot of shit about me. And I never did anything. I never stood up for myself at all. I quote, though, I never stood up for myself. I never got physical with the bullies in middle school. I don't regret it, really. I wish I would have stood up to them more and not make them feel like they can push people around just because. But I do feel like I stood up when it mattered. When they was bullying other people, I stood up to them. And I let them know, hey, that's not okay. You can bully me whenever you want, but don't bully other people. And I've never been hit in the face by a bully because, let's face it, bullies don't have the balls to actually go full on physical. It probably would have reached that point if my parents didn't pull me back out of school and if I didn't move to Bledsoe when I did. And I started going there, and it was so much better of an environment. Like 90% of the people were high, but I didn't get bullied. I didn't bully anybody. We just had a fun time. And Then when I went to high school, I was in some trouble, so I couldn't really fight back then either at the start. So I had to go to some people and be like, well, hey, these guys are picking on me again, and that's how I had to handle the situation, which really sucks because I did that in my middle school a lot. I was like, hey, these guys won't leave me alone. They keep talking crap about me. And, I live in the South, so even though I'm not gay, just the fact that so many people was like, hey, you're gay, you're a faggot. The teachers were like, well, are you gay? Are you a faggot? Because, I'm not going to help you if you are. Which sucks. It hurts because I had nobody to rely on, I felt like. Anyways. I had no friends at all, really. I had one or two. But the moment that the bullies came around, they went running. And sometimes they would join in. And it's alright. I needed somebody, though. I couldn't just be like, well, you're not really my friend, so I'm not going to talk to you. I just had to grin and bear it. But I took a lot of shit throughout middle school. And I very rarely stood up for myself. And I never stood up for myself. I stood up for other people like a couple of times. I'm not saying that for praise. I should have stood up for myself. I really should have. I should have fought back. And when they got physical, I should have got physical, and the bullying would have stopped. Win or lose, it would have stopped. And I wasn't very confident in my own skills. And when I started going to martial arts more, I was starting to get more confident, but I never wanted to fight. I'm a very big pacifist. I do not like to hurt people, which sucks when you're getting bullied, because people will use that against you. You're not going to fight back, so they're going to see that as weakness, and they're going to push you around until you either snap or you end up killing yourself, which I guess is snapping as well. And I wanted to talk about alpha males. And yes, I've been watching a lot of Cobra Kai. I watched both season 1 and 2. I love the show. Cobra Kai never dies. But I'm not saying this just because it was in the show, because I know there's a lot of things that happened in that show. Like fighting in the school like that would never happen in real life. But it's been out for a minute, so don't come at me with hashtag spoilers, but it happens. Anyways, there's a lot of alpha males out there. Well, people who think they're alpha male, and people who think that just because they're dicks, they're alpha male, that they're better than everybody. They're bullies, so they're better. They can degrade women. They can degrade men weaker than them, and make everybody just feel real crappy about themselves because they're alpha males. And everybody's going to want to be friends with the alpha male, right? Because he's the big man on top. He's big man on campus. He's the alpha male. He's better than everybody. He's the strongest. He's the fastest. He's the best. All the women are going to want him. All the guys are going to want to be him. And that's true to an extent because it's fear. Now, not all the women are going to want you just because you're an asshole. That's not going to happen. But people will want to be you because they want that. They don't want to be bothered. They want that strength, that fake strength. Because being able to fight and being a bully and knowing when to fight, being the pacifist or whatever, is two different things. I would rather be the pacifist any day than be the bully. Trust me, I've been both. I've been a really big bully in the past. I lost my faith there for a while, and I started smoking, and I bullied somebody for believing in God. Well, you love Jesus, so you must be faggot. Suck some Jesus dick. That's kind of this kind of stuff I said to that person. And I'm not proud of it. I pray every day that I get forgiveness for that. And I'm not preaching at you and saying you should believe in God either. I'm just saying that's my thing. And I did a lot of other bad stuff that I'm probably not allowed to say. But I never killed anybody or hurt anybody really physically or anything like that. But I'm gonna kind of keep some stuff to myself. And I've dropped the knife for the 60th time, but I'm not going to give up, because that's the metaphor of this video. But with going along on the part about bullies and stuff, I don't think that you need to be a bully. Actually, I know you don't need to be a bully to have friends, to get girls, to be popular. I mean, we're 18 people. We don't have to bully people to be popular. We don't even need to be popular. I mean, that's just a stupid thing that came up in middle school and kind of late elementary, early middle school to high school thing. Nobody cares if you was the prom king or prom queen anymore. That was your peak years. We're grown-ups now. We need to move forward. But yeah, I know there's probably a little bit of controversial stuff I said, and a lot of cussing in this video. I apologize for that. But I can't really find other words to describe this stuff. And I mean, this is me. 100% uncut, this is me. Nobody else telling me what to say. Nobody else telling me how to say it. No control of it. This is me saying it. And I want to be the person I want to be legit with you guys. Genuine. And talk about stuff that I went through, struggles that I had, and how I overcame them. And martial arts was a big thing. Gaming was a big thing. Me being myself was another big thing. Because when I started doing martial arts, got more confidence. Started going to therapy, got more confidence. Started gaming more and actually got a job there for a while, got more confidence. Didn't end very well, but YouTube came out of it, so I guess it ended alright. I've ran this video for half an hour, so I'm going to cut this just rambling mess here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, hit that like button, smash the subscribe, and share it with your friends. Bye!